please talk about the recent WWE firings.
Okay.
I don't know these, so
they hadn't done a big Black Friday of firing since 2 years ago when they got rid of like 10 guys. They got rid of like 8 people recently. They got rid of what was her name? Cameron, who was one of the Funkadactyls. She was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Naomi and Cameron was the other one?
Yeah.
I think she won in NXT somehow. Oh, no, she was the first one gone from NXT that year, but they still signed her. So they got rid of her. They got rid of some other folks where it was like, honestly, so what? I can't even remember them right now. Who most of them were, I'll bring them up. But the one person they got rid of that really fucking annoyed me was Damien Sandow.
I love that guy.
Damien Sandow was a guy that wrestled in other regions, went to Puerto Rico, I think in Mexico too. Really tried to hone his craft before coming to the WWE. So he comes to the WWE. They give him a fucking throwback gimmick. Like basically a mix between, it was the Genius, mix between the Genius and what was it? Matt Stryker, like the teacher, where he's a know-it-all. He wears the robe, He holds the microphone like a goblet.
Yep.
Excuse me, like trying to educate the masses and how stupid they are. And he threw himself behind the gimmick, and it was awesome. Mm-hmm. And it was entertaining, and it got over. Somehow, it got over when it should exist.
Because it shouldn't have.
It shouldn't have, because it should have been a gimmick from like 91.
Yep.
And he got it over. So not only did he get it over, he put on some good matches. He was very solid in the ring. He was good with ring psychology. Yeah. I remember watching matches with him taking on Sheamus that were like 15-minute matches, like on SmackDown, I think, where Sandow got in most of the offense in the match and was really working body parts and was really putting together a good match. But this is a guy with an awful gimmick that's doing this. Mm-hmm. So they had confidence with him at one point, so much so that he won the Money in the Bank a couple of years ago. People forget.
Yep. He
won the Money in the Bank, which at one point meant you were guaranteed to be either WWE champion or World Heavyweight champion. But unfortunately, they must have soured on him because he was the first guy to win the briefcase that fucking lost it. First or second. When John Cena won it and lost it. John Cena was the only guy that cashed in and lost it. But Sandow lost it to Cena, who was champion at the time. And it was unfortunate because that was the beginning of his burial, because Cena in kayfabe was injured, could barely come out, and still beat Damien Sandow. So at that point, Sandow, went downhill. He was put in a very entertaining tag team with Cody Rhodes as Rhodes Scholars. I remember that. It was better than it should have been.
Yes.
Obviously.
Everything he did was better than it should have been. Which speaks to his talent.
And then, of course, they saddle him as a sidekick with Miz and make him an impersonator, Mizdow, which again got way over.
Yep.
It was hysterical. It was funny. It was a bullshit gimmick that any other wrestler would have been insulted with, but he made it his own, and people fucking loved him.
Yep.
But then, of course, that goes nowhere. He did a quick feud with the Miz, and after that, he disappears. Then he comes back with Curtis Axel. They try to do the Axel Mania thing, where one was Hogan, the other one was a Savage. But then when Hogan got in trouble, they did that. Then they sent him away again, and then he was basically off TV for the past like 9 months. Basically, until
I don't even remember the Axelmania stuff, honestly.
It was like 3 weeks. They just said promos. I don't know if they wrestled. But then he came back like 3 weeks ago on a throwaway Raw thing where I forget what it even was, but it was one of those things where he wasn't even introduced. Coming down there, it was like already at ringside at the ring. It was just a setup, like the competitor getting waylaid by someone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? One of those sort of deals.
Yeah.
So they introduced Damien Sandow. Though he got a huge pop. Like it was like, oh my God, it's Damien Sandow. We love this guy. And Sandow was like this, like, yeah, you guys like me. And then they let him go, and it's like, at what point do you realize that a guy is overachieving and that you should keep a guy, or at least reward him, or do something with him?
He didn't balk. I mean, as far as we know, he didn't balk at any of the bullshit gimmicks you settled him with. In fact, he threw everything he had behind him and made, as we've already stated, gimmicks that should never have work in his favor. Yeah,
it was the same thing that they did with the 3-man band. They were getting over.
Yep.
And they got rid of 2 of them. Jinder Mahal and McIntyre, who's now like the TNA champion, or one of them. You know, just really fucking weird. And it just every time this happens, I'm just really glad that I'm not a pro wrestler. Besides the fact that it kills your body, but the fact that it doesn't even sound like if you're good at what you do, you can be successful. There's so many weird political machinations.
It's all politics.
And politics that I probably would not want to do or be involved with. Oh, they got rid of El Torito. They got rid of Hornswoggle. They weren't using either of them. That makes sense. But supposedly there's more firings to come. Supposedly Ryback's going to be one. Believe it or not, it's rumored that they're starting to slash his merchandise. Because supposedly he spoke out about McMahon about he wanted. I don't like Ryback as a wrestler, really. I don't like him as a person from what I've heard.
No, I don't like Ryback at all.
But from this, he has a point. But it's unfortunate because whenever you try this, you get stomped on. Reportedly, he went to McMahon and said, I really think wrestlers should be compensated for their hotel, which they should.
Yes.
But they're not, which is bullshit. And, of course, that's never going to happen because, why, that's too much money to give out, So Ryback's going to be gone, too. They're probably going to get rid of guys guys like Swagger. They'll get rid of.
Yeah, he's done.
The Ascension have gone nowhere.
Right.
Fandango they brought up back recently to try to do something with, but he was like one note gimmick who had his day in the sun a couple years ago. Social Outcasts have gone nowhere, really.
I don't even know who they are.
Adam Rose, I think, was suspended for some sort of drugs, but he maintains it was something medical. So he might be on the outs, even though Randy Orton failed like 75 drug tests. So, yeah, whatever. Another reason why I don't like watching wrestling, because it's just depressing when you see the good guys of the business get shit on and don't go anywhere.